Today we're opening up these carving tools by Arbortech and seeing if they can make short work of this block of mahogany. Come on, let's check it out. Hey, it's Todd Wolfe of Made by Wolfe, and today we're going to look at the Arbortech Power Carving Unit, as well as a couple of the attachments that there are for it. So this is the Arbortech Carving Unit. This is something I'm excited to use, and we're doing this unboxing right now because it's going to be used on a project that we're starting, a build for a bluestone bench. It's a contemporary bench that has these contoured ends, and we're going to use this tool to contour the ends on it. It is something I've done in the past with simply a grinder and 60 grit sandpaper, and this should do a couple things. It should make it a lot easier and also a lot cleaner because it has, again, it has the dust collection, but also instead of using simply abrasives on it, a lot of it are going to be done with one of these two items. This is the Turboplane, and then this is the Industrual Woodcarver Pro kit. So the Industrual Woodcarver, these are both 4-inch wheels. This one has more of a 3 plain edges on it, and this has like 3 tips on it. This is supposed to be more aggressive, less fine. This is supposed to be fine in terms of the cutting, much finer, producing shavings, more like I think that you would expect to get off of a shaper or something along those lines. So we're going to open these up. So let's get into opening this and see what I've gotten myself into. We're going to get out a piece of wood and we're going to play around a little bit with it, and then you'll be able to see in action. If you connect with the series on the bluestone bench, you will be able to see this in action, actually contouring the ends on that bench. So come along, let's see what's inside. All right, so we are going to see exactly what is inside. Yeah, look at that. A suitcase. Nice. All right. It is nice to actually have a place to put everything. So glad to know that there's my instructions down there. We'll see if we even need those. Right, so that is the unit here. Here's my that is a short piece of dust collection hose. Let me just really clear about that. And a little stiff. We'll see how that works. Hopefully there's a good hookup. I have a Makita dust extractor, and see, you need a little shoulder strap for my suitcase. I don't know what they're expecting with that, but the power carving unit is Velcro down in there. That's kind of nice. Sometimes these things are just bouncing around. And I'm expecting inside this box here that we are going to have our sanding pad. I did not buy any sanding paper for this. Ah, look at that. They actually have some, so good. And I'm curious if that is actually, I assumed this was a 4-inch pad. What I want to get into first is to see how it works with the Turboplane. I have a feeling that this is going to be the item that I'm probably will use most on this, because most of the carving and the work that I do tends to be, I think, something that would be geared towards the Turboplane. So let's actually stick this onto the unit. Place that down there. You can see that this is really just an angle grinder, and I'm not actually seeing anything that would indicate that you could not use a normal angle grinder to attach this. These two attachment points, that's where it actually gets attached, simply go into the handle holes. The first things I need to do is I need to get this piece off. I need to get the dust collection port unit thing on there. That is the backer that comes with it. This is the washer that fits onto or that the fan fits onto. And then the Turboplane is going to be placed on that. And then the nut, the spindle nut will go on there. When you use the Turboplane with this, you can adjust the height, or rather the depth of the cut by this here. This actually changes the depth that is cutting. You can see this is rotating, and when it rotates, it comes out a little farther, or comes back in a little further, and allows you to, I think that the theory is that you can actually use this as a planer. All right, so I got my dust collection hooked up. I've got my block here in my end vise, nice and firm. I have dialed this back for its deepest cut right now, and we're gonna see what happens. So let's go. So let me just say right now, if you can't see, the dust collection on this is significant. So when it's being used with this dust shroud, there just isn't a lot of dust that's created. However, the problem is that with this dust shroud on anyways, what I can do with the tool is fairly limited. This dust shroud, I don't know if this can be used with the other dust shroud or not, but with this dust shroud, it limits your ability to use the edge of the tool, and that it actually rides on the surface and allows you to do some fairly aggressive but fairly flat planing of the wood. Quickly, I'm going to play with this just a little bit more, and then I'm going to actually take off this shroud and see what the other dust collection does on that. Yeah, so I really cannot do any concave contouring with this dust shroud on there at all. It would be for convex or flat contouring. So that just is a part of what that is. Now let me switch this out and see what this other thing brings. All right, so with this new smaller dust collection port on there, you can see here that this entire edge of the cutting surface is now exposed, which will allow for using the edge more, and will allow for concave contouring. So we'll see how this does with the dust collection. Isn't it fun opening Christmas presents? This is great. All right, so you can see that this is a significant difference in terms of being able to do concave contouring with the smaller dust collection head on it. It is fairly impressive there that I could get in as deep as I can. I mean, almost the depth of my hand is in there. This bodes well for what I'm hoping to use it for, which is the ends of the bluestone bench. I need nothing like this amount of contouring. And yet, the dust collection, I'm actually a little bit shocked at how good the dust collection is. It isn't perfect. I am pushing this stuff together. You can see that what has been left up on the bench here, that there's still dust there, but it is a couple things. It is shavings more than dust, which means that it's not nearly as volatile and easier to clean up and doesn't travel on the workshop. And there's also, for the amount of wood that I just removed from this, it is a fairly small amount of dust and shavings. So this does a very good job. Okay, now we're going to stick one more item on there and just see what it's like. And this is the other 4-inch cutting disc that they sell, which is the Industrial Carver Pro Kit. Industrial Carver Pro Kit. So let me swap these two things out. can see that there's a safety guard, depth. This is a little depth thing here, and it was not really difficult to put on. One thing about this right now that I'm realizing is that there is no dust collection with this, and it'll be curious to see kind of how because things are going to get kind of sucked up in there and thrown about. So we'll see what that's like. We'll put everything else away here. For this, I think I'm going to put a dust mask on. This sucker does not connect to dust collection, and you can see all of a sudden the amount of dust is pretty extreme. But what you can see is the aggressiveness of the Industrual Woodcarver Pro Kit is just so much more aggressive. I mean, in no time, that amount of wood is gone, and it did not feel like it was catching and wanting to like do dangerous things, kick back or anything like that. It felt like it had a fair amount of control. So that was pretty impressive. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this guard, this plexi guard off. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this is actually sold as both the Industrual Woodcarver, which is just this blade by itself, and then I purchased what they call the Industrual Woodcarver Pro Kit, which has this plexiglass kind of guide on it, and it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be used with this. However, you do have to be very much more aware of the danger. But one of the things that this guard does is that it tends to prevent, just like with the Turboplane, I couldn't lift up and use the edge of the Turboplane. With this, I can only use the very edge of this tool. I can't lower it down and do shallower carving with it. So we're going to pull this off now, and we're going to see what the carving is like with this guard off, and just being able to use the surface of this Industrual Woodcarver. All right, so that is what that looks like. I've already, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to put the smaller dust collector port on and see if that actually collects dust from this. So we'll try this first. Again, this all of a sudden is, the reason they sell this is because this all of a sudden is very exposed, and you just want to be aware of that. All right, so you can see that obviously that is creating a lot more dust because none of that's being sucked up anything. I think I have a little portable 1 horsepower dust collector that I would probably bring over for that. But however, the aggressiveness with a fair amount of control is pretty impressive. I was very happy. Again, laying that down on its side, all of a sudden I could very quickly, quicker than the Turboplane, but with less control than the Turboplane, and of course the Turboplane has the advantage of very good dust collection. But I could remove the entire corner of that off with little effort whatsoever. So I'm going to now switch this out. We are going to put the smaller of the 2 dust collector ports on there and see if we can do any carving of any significance with that dust collector on there and how the dust collector works. You can see here that although I'm limited from going on the end because of the dust collection shield here, I do have the very end and around the edge exposed, so I think I'm still going to have a fair amount of cutting surface that I'll be able to use with this. So still not the dust collection capabilities that there were with the Turboplane, but significantly better than without this guard. And I still have a fair amount. I think I have most of the range of this tool for the Industrual carver. I have most of that range still available. There you have it. That is the power carving unit, which again is the angle grinder part of this, with the two attachments that we looked at today were the Turboplane, which did an excellent job, both for an actual planing surface used with the larger guard, which allowed you to get a fairly flat surface fairly quickly, and then also with the Industrual Woodcarver, which is this blade that is on it right now, which has these 3 carbide tips on it. Again, the Turboplane, excellent job. Probably will be what I'm using most of the time. Still remove things fairly quickly, but also had excellent dust collection on it for the type of cutting that we're doing. And then the Industrual Woodcarver also did not do bad, very aggressive, and yet still a fair amount of control with both of these things. Yeah, so far I'm giving this 2 thumbs up, and I thank the people at Arbortech for all the years of work that they put into this, because this upcoming project, this part of it's going to be a breeze, and I'm looking forward to that. So again, join me for that. That is the bluestone bench project that I am doing, and that'll be on the channel as well. I'll put a link for that also here on the on a card here on the screen. Again, this is Todd Wolfe with Made by Wolfe, here in the workshop where I can make stuff, encouraging you to get out in your makerspace, whatever it is, and get out there and make something today. Well, that was downright exciting. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you know when the rest of the videos from this series comes out. This is Todd Wolfe with Made by Wolfe, encouraging you, as always, to get out there and make something today.